And we're back in episode 2 of Walk Behind the Watchman, Cultist Simulator. Let's see what's happening today. So where were we before? We had Gisbet walking around, looking around the town. We met an acquaintance. This could potentially be profitable for us. Whoa. And I believe we were going to start to work on our passion as soon as we get that back. So, finished our manual labor from the last episode. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this form of long-form content of Cultist Simulator narrated. Well, what are we going to work on? Is it time to get it just a regular job, folks? Could that be what we need to do? I am unsure. I wouldn't mind getting even stronger. Would there be enough time to convert both of these vitalities into a lesson learned? Let's see. It only takes 60 seconds to do some exercising. And we could spend our other health on continuing the manual labor. To work we go. I feel like this Glimmerling will last long enough for us to be able to do this. Although it could be really close. Course of the Heart. Whenever the principle of the heart is implicated, I may gain vitality. Well, that's great. We found a club. The Icdesis Club. A cabaret with an occult reputation. I believe this is going to be a place that we could go to spend a little bit of money and get some random events that could potentially help us. So good job finding that, Gisbet. Do I want to send her back out to do a little bit more exploring? Ooh, I think I do. Crowded thoroughfares by day, a fog-wrapped labyrinth by night. I'll set my minions to searching for opportunities. Sounds ideal. Aha! Some contentment appeared from our dreams, and our despair grabbed a contentment, and that's going to nullify the one remaining dread that's in here, which should end this whole debacle for us. Okay. Is there anything else we could dream about right now? Oh, really? What happens if I dream of scholarship? That seems weird, doesn't it? Those are the reasonable dreams. That's how bad stuff happens. Overly interpreting one's dreams from a logical standpoint leads to some form of mind loss. Alright, so what happened with our adversary? They found some notoriety, right? So we're probably actually going to have a cop or a policeman investigating us now, since they were able to detect the notoriety in the last episode. There's always someone who doesn't understand, or who understands too well. This troublemaker may seek evidence of my activities to share with the authorities. And who is it? It's the wary detective. He doesn't really like his job, but he's here nonetheless. He's punching his clock too, filling out forms, a pure bureaucrat. So this gentleman would rather be left alone with his pipe and illustrated London news. But no, apparently some conjurer of abominations has to be hunted down like a mad dog, and apparently no one else can find the time. So, probably the weakest investigator we could have, because he really has no skin in the game. He's literally just doing what someone told him. So we're going to leave him up here, and he can kind of watch over all of this at his pace. If he gets too close, we will deal with him. What do we find? The strange streets by moonlight. These aren't a bad thing to visit. All kinds of random stuff can happen. Let's explore an uncanny tangle of streets by the light of the moon. Pretty random deck we'll be pulling from to do this. But it says it's the hour called Meniscate. That's probably some other type of aspect that we don't know. We're figuring it out as we go, folks. But let's explore that. Our dread is about to be dealt with. Ooh, some moth business is appearing. Old, unhappy, far-off things. Moth finds the light in the dark, and so do I. Alright, so we're under the influence of this strange feeling. Moth is one of the hardest ones to quantify. Qualify, I should say. Alright, Course of the Heart. That little event related to our blood. We got some extra vitality. We need that. Place Behind Desire. Gave us another glimmering. Alrighty. We're going to turn both these glimmerings into that second passion that we've been waiting for. Ah, we met an acquaintance. Oh my goodness. Violet? Violet has always given unstingingly of her time, easing the pain of the dying. We might be able to recruit her. She could join our cult. This is really good. We don't know much about her, but she eases the pain of the dying. Fascinating. Ah, Mystique? Well, you have fun with that worry, detective. He's not going to find much with that. Why don't we get her recruited as soon as possible, right? We got to have a little ritual to do that. Bring her in, using our cult. So what do we give them to help recruit them to our side here? I will need a little of the power we revere. I might glean it from an influence or a tool, or an ingredient, or just the lore of our tradition. Well, we have lore. But we can see if there's something else that... No, that's our only lantern. Trappings are an interesting concept too. During this ritual, we can actually get rid of certain cards and be like, the card becomes spent. Theoretically, you can use Fleeting Reminiscence for that. It's about to go away anyway. Why not just trap that? See if we get some cool stuff to appear. This one's ready. The despair abates. Memories of better time keep the wolf from the door. We survived despair. But what did we get? Trysts and interludes. Alright, if I have a particular friend, now is the time to renew our connection. I don't believe I have that kind of particular friend. We'll set this up here. I'm flying solo at this point. Some days are better than others. Sometimes the sky is nothing like a filthy sheet. Sometimes the river runs clear. We're content. Content in our solitude. We have no partner in our life. We live and sleep alone. The clouds part. What did we get? We just the fleeting reminiscence of remembering the ordeal that we went through. Wow. Visions pass me with vain grace. A window over a wood, a garden of ice, a shivering sun, a woman of glass. I will return home with reluctance. We had an interesting encounter in the strange streets by moonlight, and it provided us some glimmering, something that could potentially help our passion. We might have enough to go all in on multiple passion now, but that's asking a lot. Let's just get the first one. Alright, we finished our daily grind. We are running low on money, so this is going to be one of the last times we're going to be messing around with this before we have to get a real job, right? There's more vitality, and there's our $1. Do we commit to the real job now? Maybe. I don't think we do. I guess it's going to be about that time, though. Yeah. Instead, we'll wait 3 seconds and just get back to work. Alright, get back into that manual labor job. We can hang out a little longer. We still have some money. We're not totally broke yet. Ha! I did some exercise, and I got a lesson learned. Once we have 2 lesson learns, we will be able to gain another health. So theoretically, we can take these two vitality and study them, get that second lesson learned, but we're going to do that later, because first we want to make sure that we get the second passion from the glimmering, and in 60 seconds when these two finish, this one would be expired. But that's no good. So let's work on our passion now. Increase my passion? Yes. We want the ones that are the quickest to go out. The tigers of wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. If I spend time studying what I've learned, I could increase my passion and gain a skill. So I'm going to feed my imagination with these glimmerings. And this is a good use of our study for the day. When this health comes back, we could go exploring, but I think actually it's better that we just send Yizbet back out right now to have her search the city again. She's been doing a great job at it. She's found some cool stuff already. Okay, looks like we succeeded. A dozen lights blaze. There is no place for shadow in these rites, and no place for mercy. The Mirror of Glory has brought another to our block. Violet is now a believer. Violet likes to paint. She has a gift, although she's always been very modest about it. She never puts human figures in her paintings. There are enough people in the world. Ah, and her aspect? Winter. This is the aspect that I erroneously thought Yizbet was going to be. Winter is the principle of silence, of endings, and of those things that are not quite dead. There's a lot of finality in winter. It definitely feels like an aspect of change. Death comes to mind for me. So great job. Perhaps... Well, first let's see what happened with the moth. A half-glimpsed wistfulness has touched me. Ah, we became restless. More dread-related stuff. Is there anything I can do with that? With this? We just kind of have to let it go. Oops, can't do that. Okay. We'll just have to let it turn into dread and try to deal with it later. Now, could it be good to just grab the Watchman secret and go take it to the streets? Talk about esoteric matters? We've had some success doing this in the past. We don't have a whole lot of bad cards going, and I'm not super concerned about the wary detective, so if we draw a little extra attention by shouting at the street corner, so be it. What did she find? Ooh, a location. An overlooked place. This is really good. Might have found somewhere unusual. Ah, the Oriflamme's auction house. This is very cool. Oriflamme specializes in curios, perfumes, taxidermy specimens, and rare texts. It operates from cramped new premises. Whoa. Since the destruction of the old by an unexplained fire. Alright, so it burned down, they rebuilt it. What's beautiful about this place is that we get to go here, bring kind of items that we're not interested in, that are excessive, and we'll be able to flip them for cash. So it's kind of our pawn shop. Put that here with our other locations. Great work, Yizbet. What do you say you get back out there? We'll just keep her searching around. I mean, she doesn't seem to mind doing it. We don't have a lot of money to be buying books or other things right now until we go get our real job soon, employing our reason. About the straight streets. We already have some of that. Get back out there. Don't worry about the straight streets, you've already seen it. Find me something tangible, please. What do you got here? A hireling. The fortune teller. Once again, we're a little too poor to be hiring random people for jobs that we don't know anything about. So, Yizbet will just hang out, be friendly with this person for a minute, and we'll let them go on their merry way. Speeding up time. Alright, we finished our manual labor again. Pretty soon we'll be able to do the third tier of stronger physique. But for now, keep us making that money. Let's get to work on on manual labor again. I wonder if I should have started the real job by now rather than just complain about not having money over and over again. But part of me wants to get the health situation sorted and be triple healthy before we commit to the daily grind of office work. So we fed our imagination. There are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. So I've gained passion, but it's going to be more difficult to gain passion next time. We now have a vivid imagination. My daydreams sometimes outpace my dreams. Use this with work to paint. Aha! We now can do a different job, such as making paintings. Or we can study this with 2 lessons learned to gain a third passion, kind of like that we're doing with health right now. So there's that second passion. Alrighty. A good find. Let's take our quickest expiring vitalities and get that lesson learned that we need. We're going to do exercising again. I mean, it's like a montage of exercise at this point. We are getting ripped early. Ripped in the service of the lantern. There's that dread that I hate. Ooh, I met an acquaintance while I was out talking on the streets, and it's brought my passion in to hopefully bring him around. That could be good. I don't like this. I don't want to go through that thing again. But we'll see. Maybe it won't be a problem. No, it's a problem, alright. Bleak thoughts have crept in. Okay. You know what that means, folks? We're gonna have to buy a tincture of opium. We'll have to visit that discreet pharmacist and try to deal with these negative thoughts that keep plaguing us. You know, despair, dread and despair are a common problem for a cult leader, and if we don't have an answer for it, we will suffer and die. So drugs it is. Alright, Spit. Good job finding the wrong thing, but it's better than nothing. Get her back out there. Alright, daily work done. $3 gold left. That just doesn't seem to be enough to cover emergencies or other things. So what we are going to do is finally commit to the bit and work with our reason. So if we're going to employ our actual thinking capacity toward finding a good job, what happens? We're going to find clerical work, we're going to find office work, we're going to find something that's a little bit past entry-level employment, where we can use our intellect to generate a little bit more money, right? So this is it. And here it comes over the screen. We're going into a regular job. But this is going to fund our endeavors. We must do it. She found another hireling. This time the professional muscle. Ooh. Well, the professional muscle is pretty cool because it's an edge aspect character, and if we had the gold for it, we could be using this in order to fight our enemies. Going after this guy, who's technically our enemy, is probably not worth it. He's not really onto us. But if we run into problems with the next job, it may be a good idea to get the hireling on him now. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and buy this guy. And we're just going to have this hulking fighter hanging out next to our cult, just a pure mercenary, because if we encounter someone in our day job who seems to be getting in our way and making it miserable for us, I believe that we're going to have an answer in the form of this guy. So let's pay it. I'm ready to grow stronger. We got that lesson learned. So, with 2 lessons learned and a stronger physique, I believe we now will enter our third tier of maximum health. We're going to get extremely strong. Exercise the body. Stronger again. And this is what I meant by getting basically jacked at this point. Glover & Glover has offered me a junior position. Yes! I start at 8 sharp tomorrow morning. Glover & Glover. So, notice this is a little bit different than a normal job. It has a countdown. We must go to this job every day. We are on a schedule, a weekly schedule, a daily schedule. We are expected to be at our desk working. So, my intellect should be put to better use, but the pay is better in laborer's work. If we don't attend the job regularly, we're going to suffer a demotion. And that's unacceptable. We must rise the ranks to get the most money that we possibly can out of here. So, let's get back in here. The scratching of pens, the sourness of dust, the sighing of the younger Glover, and the greedy gurgling of the elder. Do we apply diligence to this extra effort? It might help sometimes. Well, we are a reasonable person. Of course we're going to apply a little bit of extra effort to try to get ahead at our job, right? I will apply the extra effort. Perhaps they'll appreciate it. And we met an acquaintance. It's a hanger-on. They're usually malleable, but they'll probably never amount to much. We might be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. These are kind of the garbage followers that we get kind of an unlimited amount of. It's basically an NPC. Hanger-on, whoever, generic folk. We could theoretically recruit them. They're interested in the cult, but they are probably not going to be a super effective character. What we don't want to do is just introduce them into our cult when we are running into risk from him and generate extra notoriety for a character that's not super useful. So for now, we're going to let the hanger-on hang out with us, but it's like, you can go ahead and get us coffee, donut, whatever. We're not actually going to bring you in, you know what I mean? This is an intern at this point. There's that opium. It worked out. We got contentment. And then when this is expired, it will hopefully pull the contentment in automatically, and then we will be saved from this negative thought loop spiral. What do you say, folks? Take it to the streets? Speak of the esoteric matters? I think so. Let's do that rather than mess around with this goofy follower. All right, speeding up time a little bit. Okay, that worked out. Contentment was brought in, and we're going to be saved from despair. It looks like the cop is doing things. Wrong kind of attention. How long will they leave me in peace? I don't know. He seems to be on the prowl. But if he's working on us and starting to actually get to do his job, he hung out and took all those days off when he first got here, and now he wants to work. All he's going to find is Mystique. Mystique is empty evidence. It's speculation. It will allow him to stick around and keep harassing us, but he won't actually find anything tangible to charge us with. That is, of course, unless I get some notoriety because I buy this guy. It could oh, it didn't. Just the professional muscle is here for the next 2 minutes. Nice. But we have a fighter. Can help with hunters and annoyances. That's what I'm expecting, an annoyance at our job that's going to require it to be dealt with by a hulking guy. Okay. Yisbet, you've been doing a great job. Why don't you get back out there, see what you can find in the streets. We're all taking it to the streets these days. This is a period of expansion. Alright, so what happened at our job? Mr. Alden, the supervisor of records, has called me into his office to recognize my diligence. I watch the mole on his neck as he talks and talks and talks, but at the end of it, I have a promotion. My new position is better paid, and the desk stands by the street window. But I work directly for Mr. Alden now, and Mr. Alden is known to be exacting. Position of records under Mr. Alden. I earn a little more. I stay a little later. Mr. Alden always watches me closely. Sounds like he might be an annoyance. We got we got 2 gold. See, we got paid more for that. Have enough time to potentially... He is an annoyance. So we want to make sure and try to find a way to deal with this annoyance before we even go to the job. We'll have to do that when all this expires. So we should go to the job first and work here. I'm better paid than I was, but Mr. Alden has taken an interest in me. Mr. Alden is very particular. Mr. Alden likes things done just so. And he has never believed that I'm qualified for this position. Okay, so we're off to a rough start with him. He is annoying, but we do need to work on that so that when that ends, we can send the annoyance after him. I think I need talk in order to use it. Cool, strange streets again. Thank you, Isbit. Go ahead and get back out there. We now have a hardened physique. All right. I have grown strong as a smith or a soldier. Got our 3rd health. But what is there that we can study in order to get even better? Do we want to... I don't know, nothing right now. We can learn Latin. Why not? Why not? Found another hireling. A second hulking fellow, but that's not as quite as powerful as professional muscle. So we're not going to hire this one because we're already good with what we have here. The key is that we just need to get this sicked on our annoyance as soon as possible. And how we do that, I can't quite remember which verb it's going to be. Alright, so the clouds part, the despair is gone. A little fleeting reminiscence, totally normal. Looks like the obsession card has happened and brought in the Watchman's light. So even in the waking hours, I've begun to see new colors. We remember this. Looks like we're going to be meditating on our quest for enlightenment. And the moth appeared again, making us restless. There's been a lot of moth happening. Good thing that despair is already gone, So, just reminding us that we need to explore. Restless again? Double restless? Pretty dangerous stuff. Ooh, we met a patron. Poppy Lascelle. An amiable woman of property. She'd like to talk to us. What does she do? I don't know. She's a mortal. This is interesting. So this isn't a person that we can just recruit into our cult. This is an actual character. I'd like to know more about her. We're going to keep our talk verb good to go. Okay, significant conversations in a smoky meeting room. What do I need from my follower? Add your cult, send them out on cult business, or send them after enemies, or raise another matter. Let's start talking to him. Or we'll wait a second. Ha. This guy, Mr. Alden, is being extra annoying. He wants our full attention. So he says he believes that we haven't properly understood the importance of our work here. Of course, it's super important, just moving paper around and writing garbage. This task will require your full attention. Okay, you can have it. I have to work overtime at Mr. Alden's insistence. The work is complete when I have assessed the work is complete, and not before. I trust we understand each other. Wow. So those of you who have ever had a bad boss, I believe that's kind of what we're suffering from right now. So we'll go ahead and put that attention into him. I believe that he will end before our 10 seconds to go before our professional muscle is, and then there will be just enough time to send him after Mr. Alden. We've learned Latin. So we read that book, and we have dead language, dead as diamonds. So some books have to be translated, but once we get some more money and we go shopping more, we'll be making a lot more. We'll be able to read the Latin books, is what I'm saying. But we need money first. What did Yispit find out here? A hireling that we didn't hire. Let's keep her going with that. You know, it could be that her searching all the time as Moth is getting all this stuff to keep happening to us. Dang. We're sick again. Here comes the dread. Okay. On this occasion, I've determined that your work is of an acceptable standard. Please go. Be punctual tomorrow. There may be ways to deal with Mr. Alden. Oh, you bet there is. Thank you for our 2 gold for that. Okay, I can't put that there. You're going to be sent on business. Professional muscle, you have 10 seconds left. It's time for you to work. What's the subject? You're going to my job. Yes. Go to the Glover and Glover and deal with Mr. Alden for me, you hulking mercenary. I'm out of patience with this nuisance. I've only had to deal with him once, and I want him out. All right? And if we're sending an Edge character after him, you realize that he's going to be beaten up or killed. Okay? This should end the matter, but they could possibly survive, and the attempt will draw attention. We do have cops looking at us, but basically this guy is standing in the way of us making real money. He's going to be making us spend overtime, doing twice the labor for the same amount of work. We must risk it now. If we get a little notoriety and the cop is onto us and goes, wow, you've been sending hulking fellows after your employer, you know, maybe we can build a case against you. We'll find another way to deal with him. We can also send another muscle band to deal with the cop if that ends up happening. So far, I say this is exactly what we needed to do. We're dealing with the annoyance. Strange streets discovered again. Anything left to study? I study restlessness. Ooh, it's not good. It doesn't say it's a good thing. What happens if I study my dread? Perhaps I can use dread to strengthen... Okay, it messes with certain influences. This is a later game thing that we won't be able to do right now. We're kind of just stuck dealing with these things. We're going to end up probably buying another tincture of... We're such a drug addict at this point. There's just no other way to mitigate all of this restlessness and dread. Let's get some more contentment, combine it with one of the dreads, and therefore we can kind of stay ahead of the game if despair begins to grip us. Oh. But while we're dealing with this guy, we can actually go do we can work a different job. Why don't we do that? We've got arms of iron, so we don't fear injury. Let's use our hardened physique, and while our job is being affected by a mercenary, we can go work a different job, huh? Clever, clever. What'd you find? A hireling. A shifty woman. Okay, kind of a strange moth woman. Not interested in hiring her right now. She may have a certain charm to her, but it's not exactly the kind of person we're looking for hiring. We hired the guy we needed. Here's all that dread. And one appeared, of course. We bought the tincture of opium, but then, of course, the despair is starting. I still think we're going to be able to stay ahead of it. Because we're going to dream on dread. We're going to clear our mind of the dread by going to sleep, combining the contentment and the dread. And the cop found nothing. He's got all the mystique, he scooped all that up, but then there's no notoriety for him to get, so he's starting to hit some dead ends here, folks. Of course, illness grips us. But we're so healthy that we can just work through sickness. And I fully intend to do that. We're going to take our other health here and get right back into it. or we would wait to potentially see if our job gets solved in 5 seconds, and then we can go back to that work. See what happens. Nope, they're dealing with that annoyance. So instead, I'd say there's plenty of time to do more manual labor. I mean, we are almost broke. We need to get out there. You know, you've been doing great, but I'd actually like to see if Violet can do some exploring for us instead. She's been waiting on the bench for a while, and she's of some different aspect, so possibly that will cause some more wintry things to appear. Because I believe all this moth searching is making us very restless. As it should. What do you got for me? You found a location? Oh, just this garbage streets by moonlight. Which we could just visit. We have one about to go. It never hurts to walk the streets and see what can happen. It's a big deck to pull from, but there could be good things. Oh no, it did find some notoriety. Where did that notoriety come from? Oh, because of the annoyance. Minion is returned with a trophy. The annoyance has been extirpated. Wow. He's dead. He killed the guy, Mr. Alden, and brought him back. So it's a human corpse. The spirit has departed. At some point, the smell will be so bad you'll have to dispose of it. But here it is for now. It may attract attention. Well, it certainly did. The cop noticed that we lugged the corpse of our boss back to our home. It may be used to impress the impressionable. Ooh, well, it does have a lot of aspect to it. It has death aspect and grail aspect. It's a very powerful thing holding the corpse of our boss in our house. Let's put him with the rest of our cult. You guys can chat with him. He doesn't say much back. Professional muscle, that's all we're gonna need from you. You can now hit the road. So mind was cleared. And now do we go looking for that other opium? Yes. We've gone off the deep end on drug addiction here, and there's really no two ways about it. I don't know though if that's actually necessary this second. I think what we should look to do is cure this affliction first with some vitality. Let's just heal up, go to bed like we've done before, and deal with this injury that came over us. So the man called Alden is gone. I may find matters easier when I return to work. Woohoo! We are now going to start getting ahead at Glover and Glover. Trust me. Okay. The others speak little to me, but now they nod when I pass. Here's my pay. Still got our gold. And it's quick. It's quick work. But we're not going to do that now. We're actually going to get back into our Glover and Glover position. The office crackles with the news of Alden's unexpected absence. Oh, but I know where he is. A scrawny, nervous fellow from the 4th floor has been appointed supervisor of records, temporarily. Unlike Alden, he does not interfere with my work. Okay, so we have a weak boss now who just doesn't care about any of that. That's what we want. We want to be able to do our own thing. But let's get to work on making some real money here. Because we still have to pay a rent all the time. But what do we find in the streets? Well, a subtle fracture. These are kind of cool. This is a big one, actually. They're called influences. They're temporary chunks of a certain element. In this case, knock. So, clouds part, walls creak, old wounds ache. It's a 6th order influence. Nothing we could do with this at this point in the game, but they are powerful cards in certain circumstances. Violet, why don't you do a little exploring? Search the city for us. I'd like to wait for this evidence to go away before we commit to any more cult action. Since he found notoriety, we just want this to kind of expire and hope that he doesn't have a case anymore. Another knock character. We're not going to hire this person unless we think that there is that knock could help us get into a place. Usually, knock is good for getting through locked doors. We have one place that we can visit, but I don't know that this one's going to require a knock. There's an aspect of a vault. There's something precious here. Do we just want to risk it? And this is a heck of a hireling to just grab. The entry consultant. Ooh. Yeah. We just paid rent. We'll have enough to pay another rent. Then the money will come in. That should hopefully afford the opium. Okay. Well, he's safe. We're safe for now, I should say. My adversary does not have enough evidence to build a case against me. The notoriety stays, the cop remains, but the case falters. And, wow, 2 notoriety he now has. Hopefully he won't start up a new case anytime soon, because if he looked again, he would find only dangerous things. I think it became notoriety because the corpse finally decayed, and then we had to throw Alden somewhere and dump his body. And in the process of doing that, we gained notoriety, of course. But we healed up. I'm not going to spend our last gold on that opium right now. We're just going to hope that some contentment appears from something else. Really cutting it close here. But we're about to... Once we get this money, we'll immediately flip it into drugs. Ink, paper, and the fizzing of the electric lights. The office is dark when I leave, but I leave at the appointed time. We don't have to work overtime anymore. 2 gold. Amazing. Get back to work. Get right back in there. We will always use our reason. So be as diligent as possible working at this place. Devotion. Extra effort. It might help if I'm very lucky. We could put chunks of reason in here and do even more work at Glover and Glover, and maybe we can look at getting even another promotion. But let's try it. It's going to be a bit, but we should, with our 2 funds, we have 1 for 1 opium and 1 for our rent, and then we are broke. But that's how we're going to stop this dread. Course of the Heart going through us. What did you give us? Just regular vitality. Thank you. And the entry consultant has been hired. I'm good with doors. This hireling may be useful for some expeditions. Nice. They're going to need to hang on for a little while because we're going to need money to fund the expedition that we want to do. And we can't, because we have to pay rent. We need to get this second bit of... We need to get paid for this job before we send the entry consultant after the Cater and Hero Limited. So until then, Violet can do another search on the streets. I believe that I can go talk of esoteric matters. The Watchman's secret. See if we get a little lucky and find some more people that want to join our cult. And now, my study has been sitting for a while. It could be a good idea to go and try to get to the next tier of passion. It really doesn't hurt to study something. Wonder what would be good to study. Let's see if we can just read some sentimental literature. It's just stuff that's fun to read, fiction, other things like that to help enhance our passion. We get a few glimmerings, we could potentially go to a 3rd tier of passion. Let's let it go. It's something to do. We haven't had anything to read for a while. Oh, she found a location. And there's that contentment got sucked in, probably from the opium that we bought. Just the strange streets. No problem there. You found a place we know very well. Ooh, a hireling. The hulking fellow. Well, no problem. We won't be hiring him, but thank you. Ah. The clouds part. The wolf despair prowls elsewhere. So, we're not going to succumb to despair. We were able to medicate our mind back into correct condition, and therein lies the drug addiction spiral that our character seems to be suffering from. Be just enough time to send the entry consultant down there once we get paid for this job. Okay, the younger Glover has taken me out for a lunch at his club. I am to do more of the things that I do, more carefully, and in return, he gives me a little bit more money that I earn for his father. Holy moly, we got a senior position at Glover & Glover. I suppose theoretically I could rise higher if someone died. Ooh, there's an annoyance here too. So, if we get a really good guy, we could potentially employ more violence to get even higher in our job. That sounds pretty awesome to me. How much money do we make? 3 gold? Look how much better we're getting paid now, guys. We do want to get right back to work. Oh, we can't. We need our reason back. Oh no. Well, that's not good. We won't have time to devote reason to it. So we might be looking at a demotion. Unless we could time it the exact same second. I don't think that's gonna work, folks. We may have rose too far too quickly and didn't have enough reason to cover everything. Ooh, a patron. So if we had reason, which we don't, we could impress this person and meet a patron. So it looks like we didn't have anything eloquent to say, and this patron is just going to ignore us. We finished our sentimental literature. I've passed the time. I've been inclined to tears, and afterwards inclined to laughter. Meanwhile, the world continues. Let's read some more sentimental literature, shall we? Bleak thoughts are back, but there isn't any despair or dread for it to grab. Hopefully that will just sort of take care of itself. Not enough time to work manual labor. We might be in trouble with this job. I am a little concerned. We could just get the hulking... no, we're not. The timing is not going to line up. This is bad, folks. I feel like we're going to lose our senior position before it even started because we end up showing up a minute late to our job. Like we didn't have any reason left to solve it. Alright, Violet passed on the hireling. Maybe we suddenly get lucky by visiting the club. So if we go to the club, anything can happen, and we could potentially get an extra card that would save us from whatever we're suffering from. The entrance is lost beneath soft drapes of crimson, cinnabar, and incarandine. Don't know that word. Above the door, the club motto, bunch of gibberish. It's been rendered as into the night's circle we fly, under the fire enjoys us. Until the fire enjoys us, I should say. Okay. Well, let's head in there. We have 15 seconds. It looks like it's going to be nightly pleasure and bring us some contentment for a gold. The drinks, the song, the light, the arching walls, the smoke blue haze, the press and sway of clothed and unclothed flesh. So it's a real party. Come on, reason. Again, dread. Bleak thoughts to bleak thoughts. What is this doing over here? strange events appearing off screen. Didn't look like that was too important. Here's that contentment we're going to need to get out of some of this. And the club is now closed. A difficulty at work. My absence has been noted. I've been demoted. I'll need to argue persuasively to keep my job. My superiors must believe in my contrition. Use passion to convince management to let you return to work. Ugh. Plead to keep my job. What a disaster that this happened. Oh, there we go. So we're begging to be able to still work here, so that we don't have to just be a manual laborer forever. Anyway, as I was on the street corner talking, we met Count Jennings. Count Gottlieb Jennings represents a continental confraternity of physicians and duelists. He could use our assistance. I believe we met a patron. Put him with Poppy. We'll go ahead and talk to them, and they can help us in our mission at some point. But meeting him did provide some mystique, and that's okay. Alright, so we'd read some more sentimental literature, and we got that second glimmering. I think we should put both those glimmerings together into a lesson learned about feeding our imagination. Tigers of wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. We remember this. Let that go. So it all comes down to whether or not I get to keep my job, folks. I don't even want to do any of these other events until I know what's happening with that. We're going to have to pause on a few things. This is what it all comes down to. Been offered another chance. I am apparently grateful. So I still just have the regular position at Glover & Glover, and this one doesn't require me to visit the job quite as often. Ooh, my passion is disillusioned. Wow. Okay, so we just we spent our passion. Let's get back to work. We're just desperate to just work. We're just going to work with regular. We're not going to do any extra devotion in order to get ahead right now until we feel that we have a third reason. Whew, what a close one. But we'll celebrate that by hitting the streets and speaking of esoteric matters, and having our good friend Violet head out to the streets to search for whatever. And we go on to live another day. I believe the mistake here was devoting. By putting that extra effort into here, we drew too much attention to the job, and we bit off more than we could chew. So let's just stay at, like, kind of blend into the background and do some regular work as just work. We can consider moving up at Glover to Glover another time. Trembling in the air. So, visions, if we had fascination, would begin to grip us. We don't have any fascination, so we are okay. What happened with the despair? Well, there was no problem. Despair is gone. Fleeting reminiscence remains. So, as a proof of concept, let's see if this job is going to still pay us well by not putting that extra bit of devotion in. Okay. Lesson learnt. We need 2 of these to become even more passionate. So we need to spend another 2 minutes on working passion before we can even move to reason. Let's read that sentimental literature. Ooh, we met someone on the street. An acquaintance. This could be a person that could potentially join our cult. We do need more cultists. We only have a few. I love how I hired the Knock character and never got them a chance to go to Cater and Hero Limited. That sometimes happens. You pay a little money, you bring in somebody, and then you realize that there's just too much else going on in your life to be able to use that person that we employed. So, an error? You bet it was. But one that we can survive. Ink, paper, and the fizzing of electric lights. Office is dark when I leave. Outside on the pavement, I turn up my collar. Just a regular job. And 2 gold. Enough to keep us going. We could get right back into that job, but we can also kind of work 2 jobs at this point and still do a little bit of physical labor that we're quite good at with our arms of iron. Because we only have to be back within 88 seconds. So why don't we pepper in some other work? I'm not sure that this is a super effective route, but it will allow us to balance some of our reason. Oh, the copper is back. What's he gonna find? One of the notorieties he'll find. In 8 seconds, he'll grab something. He could grab the Mystique, he could grab the notoriety. A 50% chance. If he gets Mystique, we're okay. This one's gonna expire before he gets anything, so I don't believe he's gonna make a very good case against us still. Fascinations has been dealt with, mirrors are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I am sane, if that means anything. So we don't suffer from the curse of getting too into the lantern and having visions. We haven't had any fascination so far. We've been really level-headed, but we have been a depressed maniac that's been requiring opium to stay afloat. Violet, did you find anything? No. Why don't we all just take a break from searching for a second? See what goes on here. Notoriety gone. Grab the notoriety. Grab the wrong thing. And that's okay. Not what we wanted. Sentimental literature's been finished. Got that 1 glimmering. And now we just do it one more time, get another glimmering, combine these 2, triple passion. We've been reading tons of fiction, but it's been just as we wanted to be strong of body, we should be strong of our emotional self. We should have a lot of passion in order to run the cult effectively. About to finish our other job, our side gig. Keeps us in shape, and it gives us a buck. I am going to our regular job with reason. Takes a little longer, but we're not going to do the devotion yet either until we're at triple reason. That's the change we're making. But what happened? Who did we meet? Just a simple hanger-on. Another useless fellow. You can hang out with the other hanger-on and help him pick up our coffee. Mystique, of course. And last but not least, should we take it to the streets? I don't think so. Could be a good idea to meet some of these people. What does he do? He's a tutor. He's a Latin scholar, but we already know Latin. This is the mysterious one. Poppy is who I would just like to talk to and understand what she wants. My dear, I've been wanting to talk to you. Sometimes I fund scholars of the invisible arts. Ooh, I'd like to offer you my support, a substantial contribution, and all you need to do someday is to introduce me to someone else who'll end matters properly. She smiles benignly. Add passion to accept or reason to interrogate. For further. I'm just gonna accept this. I give full consent to this. I want the money. That's exactly right. I'll come back tonight. Whatever you need, ma'am. I just need an influx of capital. Wow, that's really good news. let's spend our own health and just walk around the streets for the night. Instead of sending people, let's do us. Let's see if we find something. And on that note, with Poppy here about to give us a bunch of money, we can end this episode on a very high note. And I look forward to sharing the third episode with you, where we will really try to use this extra money to be buying books and really trying to fill out our cult and understand more about the Lantern. Additionally, our goal in the next episode will be to become more reasonable. We'll be reading lots of literature on reason and trying to increase our scholarship with that regard, which will allow us to finally get ahead at our job once again. So, thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.